It's your friend AJ. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for hitting play on this. If you're brand new to my channel, I want to welcome you here. It is our brutal reality that life is really, really hard. Really hard. I actually had the thought of this video when I woke up this morning because it was a brutally difficult day to wake up. And so many of those days are that way. I just wake up and think, oh my gosh, can I just go back to sleep? This is too hard. I can't face another day where I feel like this. I just feel so crappy. That's our reality. Every single day as an alienated parent, we struggle. We have some element of this situation that is just hard. To be honest, I don't think a day goes by that I don't think about my children and how my life has changed and turned upside down and how it happened so fast. It was just came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it. And yet here I am. And that has caused me to have tremendous anxiety. The biggest reason why I deal with anxiety and depression and all things mental health related is because of the abuse that we all went through. I think the anxiety and the depression and the trauma, the overthinking and the pain, it all comes from having a person in your life who has a personality disorder and causes serious chaos. You never know when the next serious problem is going to come. Before I get too far, I woke up and felt this familiar weight on my chest of anxiety. And it's weird because I wanted to feel great today, but it just wasn't there. And there are so many days like that even though my mind wants something different, I can't get there because my body just still has all of this trauma that's caught up in it. I've fought this feeling for years now. I've been to every therapist. I've had every anti-anxiety, anti-depression medication out there. I've tried revolutionary treatments. Nothing I was trying was working. And here I am again, wanting so bad to shake off these emotional shackles that keep me stuck and miserable and suffering. And part of that is because every day I wake up, that child isn't around. And that brings me so much grief and can't help but to be a terrible reminder of my situation. So sometimes I just beg to have this feeling leave so that I can show up for myself and for the people who are still in my life. If I'm lucky enough to have a day where I do finally feel some motivation, I feel grateful to have a good day like that. But I also simultaneously feel kind of guilty because I feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't feel happy because my child's not around. Alienated parents, we all have other children who are still in our lives and other people in our lives that need us, and they need us to be whole. So how do we reconcile all of this? Well, I talked about feeling guilt at times for having a good day because I still have alienated children who are not in my life. And part of me thinks that shouldn't I feel sad all the time about that? But that doesn't seem right, obviously. Here's what I decided. If we are able to have a good day for ourselves and feel like part of ourselves might actually be getting healed, then the truth is that not only are we healing ourselves, we are also healing our children. And we are making a safe place for them to land. So I think healing, progress, and joy in our life is actually a really good thing. So it might be easy for everyone else, but for me, I have finally found that healing and joy in life, really good thing for me and for my alienated child. And I know that sounds crazy, almost like no duh, but it's a real struggle for me. I think it's a real struggle for alienated parents because we love our children so much. They mean everything to us. So I determined that there should be no guilt. There should only be gratitude. With my moment of self-reflection this morning, I took the time to lay in bed and do a meditation. There's one really important thing that I've noticed lately. When I feel held back by my anxiety and I feel stuck, like the anxiety is not going to go anywhere, so you might as well suck it up. I started doing something that was so effective that I'm using it more often, and it's working quite well. And I have no idea the science behind this, and I'm certainly no professional in any of this. I just happen to be a rejected parent who knows anxiety and depression and trauma and suffering all too well. Okay, so I'm about to share with you what I started doing that would help release the anxiety from my body. But before I do, I want to give a framework of understanding of how I got there. Anxiety almost always has its roots in something that I am deeply sad about. But it usually shows up as anger or hurt or fear. So the first step for me was to admit that I was just damn sad about the situation. And then I would let myself cry. And through that, I was able to release that feeling inside of me that felt like anxiety or depression or something. It felt awful, whatever it is. It most resembled anxiety. Instead of labeling it as anxiety, I would label it as being damn sad. And I would allow myself to cry. It is interesting how I was able to just cry it all out. I might have to do that several times throughout the day if I started to feel it come back, but that's okay, because instead of holding that inside and letting it turn to anger or hurt or fear, I let myself know that, it's understandable that you feel this way and that you're just so damn sad about the situation. This has been life-changing for me because for the first time, I feel like I'm making progress on my healing. In addition to that step, I also would set my intention for how I wanted to show up that day. So for me, that's being a strong, quiet, and loving mom and wife. I remind myself that I am a kind person, even though I've been told a lot by people, many horrible things. I let that go and I let that be theirs. That's what they think, but that's not who I am. And I don't have to internalize that. And I remind myself that I am kind, I am loving, and that's how I want to show up. And by so doing, I can be that quiet, strong, loving leader for those who are still in my life. I can create that strong connection and love for the family that I still have around, which is creating that environment that is strong enough for me and maybe even someday for my alienated child to come back to, if they wish. I love the word quiet strength because it's not something that is overwhelming to achieve. I feel like I can do that. I can do quiet. That's not too much for my system to do. I can be quietly strong. I don't have to be like exuberant or like high energy. I can just be like there and I'm good. I'm like a source of peace and love and positivity for the people around me and for myself. Quiet strength is also not showy. If you think of it this way, think of someone who is loud and wants all the attention as opposed to being around someone who has strong, positive vibes around them. And you can't figure out why, but they are so magnetic because they are humble and positive and confident in a way that serves other people. They are not selfish. They are not all about themselves. This person who has quiet strength is at peace with themselves. They do not draw attention to themselves, but rather they allow the positive energy that is within themselves to radiate outwards so that other people can feel loved, feel accepted, and feel strong and joyful. So in summary, I'm super grateful to let you know that this process of mine worked today. It doesn't always work, but I'm super grateful that it did today. Being a rejected parent is brutally hard. We're not built as moms or as dads to live without our children. Some people may be. Very, very, very few people don't care about their children. The majority of parents care about their children. And alienated parents had a loving relationship with our children at one point, and that is no longer around. And that's just brutal. And every day we think about our kids. We still love our kids. We are just so sad about the situation, and it builds itself up into our minds and our bodies to be something that can cause, and I know it has for me, incredible amounts of pain and suffering that has brought anxiety and depression and all sorts of other mental health difficulties and challenges. And where once in life we did not have these issues, they're here, and it seems like they're here to stay because, our family situation is so messed up. I just felt like I wanted to share the challenge, the difficulty of it, and I also wanted to share that I was able to work past it today, and that I want to just put words to what I'm sure you guys feel too. I'm so sorry. I hope that all of us can find ways to heal. I hope all of us can find ways to remind ourselves of who we really are and not let the stories of others infect our minds and try and convince us that we are some awful human being, that we are not, and that there is hope. It's been great to share this moment with you today. I hope that this video has been helpful for you. Lots of love. Bye.